Aaron Wolf, Adobe Connect Product Specialist for Carosoft. In today's video, I want to show you how you can pull a report that will let you see exactly how much your Adobe Connect account is being used over a given period of time. Now, you will need to be an administrator to run this report, but the report is very easy to do itself and so forth. So let's show you how to do that. First, after you log in, you'll want to click on Reports. Then you'll want to click on System Usage. In the drop down that will arise, there it is, we're going to click on Full System Usage, and I'm going to click Next. Now, you would want to specify the time period that you're looking for. I've always done, just out of habit, Sunday to Saturday. I do weekly reports. So I'm going to come down here, April 14th through the April 20th is what I'm going to pick. I'm going to leave all these blank, these filters here, because I am looking for the total usage for everybody on my account. I'm going to click then Create Report. Based on the size of your account, how much data you're looking at, and how big a window that you're investigating into will dictate how long of a process this is. It usually isn't too bad, but it could be longer or shorter depending on your Adobe Connect account. Now, there are a lot of fields here, but there's only 4 fields that I want to hone in on for this video especially. And they are the total meeting minutes, total host minutes, peak concurrent users, total, peak concurrent users per meeting. So let me explain exactly what these are. So the total meeting minutes is the total number of minutes for everybody in all meeting rooms for that given period of time. And notice it's displayed in hours, minutes, and seconds. That's very important to note that it's in hours, meetings, and seconds. And I'll explain why here in a few minutes. For total host minutes, it's the number of hours, or the total number of time, I guess you could say, for people who were just in the host role in all your meetings for that week. Peak concurrent users was the total number, or the maximum number of people that you had in your room or the maximum number of people you had on the server in all rooms combined at any one time. So for that week, at any one point in time, the largest number of people we had at the same time was 295 people in all rooms across the server. Now, the peak concurrent users per meeting is another way of saying the maximum high attendance session for that week. So of all the meetings we had that week, the largest one we had was 146 attendees and so forth. Now, this is great data, but it's only a snapshot in time for that particular week. If we want to see any trends, we'll want to pull this report for various other weeks, April 7th through April 13th, April 21st through April 28th. And this is where Excel becomes your best friend and so forth. So what you can do is you can come in and notice right here, we're actually going to take this data. So I'm going to say, and notice right here, 3,042 hours and 4 minutes. Now that is helpful, but it's not the best way to see the minutes and so forth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write this data down. So I'm going to go 176 for meeting rooms, 200 for hosts, total meeting, distinct meeting rooms 212. So for the total meeting minutes, I'm gonna go equal sign 3042 times 60 plus 4. That's 3042 hours times 60 minutes an hour plus the 4 minutes that's also on there gives us a nice total of 182,524. I'm gonna do the same thing with the other one. Equals 904 times 60 plus 34. And then I'm gonna go 295 and then 146 and so forth. So we can see these right here. I'm going to make it a little prettier right there. I'm going to expand this out. So now I've got this just in total number of meeting minutes, and I can do this for a variety of periods of time and so forth and so on. So if I do that, I can have a long list of data depending on how far I go back. And here is where pivot tables will become your best friend and so forth. So what we'll do, if you've never inserted a pivot table or have used them before, I'll show you how easy they are. So the first thing we want to do is we want to highlight this data. Come up to the Insert tab, click Pivot Table. It'll ask you to select the table of range for your data, which I've already done. It'll ask me where I want to put this pivot table. For this instance, I'm going to put it in a new worksheet. There's my pivot table. Now I'm curious about the dates in question, so I'm going to put those as my rows. And then the values that I'm looking for are the total meeting minutes. I'm going to put those under the values section. Boom. And that's great and everything, but that's just another way of having a list of data and so forth. So that's helpful, but that's not as helpful as it's going to be here in a second. Under the Analyze tab, I'm going to come up here and click a pivot chart. Now it pulls in the kind of chart I want based on that data right here. So I'm just going to pick a column graph right here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and so forth. So this is a visual representation of that data and so forth. But now that's not the most helpful. So we're getting more helpful as we go along this process, but that's not the most helpful. The most helpful would be if I could take this data and investigate over a given period of time. And that's where your slicers will come into play. So under the Analyze tab, under the Pivot Tools, I'm going to insert a slicer, and I'm going to insert a slicer for date. Now here's where the fun begins. Now I can come in here and I can go down to the very latest, which is this week. Now I can pick the dates that I want to. So let's say I'm curious for the last year, basically. So May of 2019 to May of 2018. So I'm going to come up here and make sure Shift is hold down. Boom, there's my data, how many minutes used, weekly minutes used for the last year, and so forth. Maybe I just don't want to go back so far. Maybe I just want to go back to the beginning of the fiscal year, the government fiscal year, which would be basically there till now, and so forth. So I can see exactly how much my Adobe Connect account is being used on a weekly basis for any given period of time now. And it's presented in a visual format where it's very, very easy to see and so forth. I can do the same things with concurrency. So I've already done these over here. And with these slicers, we can actually we can create two pivot charts and have a one slicer that connects to both of them. So as I investigate this data right here, you'll see both of these charts change. So let's say for the beginning of this year, boom, there's meeting minutes over the given period of time. That's from basically a week ago to the beginning of the year. And I can see exactly where my concurrency lies. I can see exactly how much my Adobe Connect account is being used and so forth and so on. So again, Adobe Connect provides you the data. It's Excel that will really allow you to analyze that data, investigate it, break it down, filter it, so you can see exactly what you want to see whenever it is you want to see it, and so forth, and so forth. So if you have any questions, just let us know. We're here to help.